economic growth to a double-digit level. That is the presentation is all about. We all know as Indians, right, how recession can play a havoc in the life of the people who are seeking jobs, right? A recession can cost you a better job, can cost you better income, can cost you better opportunities. But at the same time, the reverse is also true. The accelerated growth can bring in more income, can bring in better jobs, can bring in better opportunities. So I just want to demonstrate how an empirical measurement and empirical analysis can help the economy and its growth. It all started with an international study group that measures the financial transactions of village households in Thailand. They were tracking about 700 households since 1998 on a monthly basis. Right? The whole idea is to measure the simple transactions of the financial transactions of the villages from rural and semi-rural background. What they do is, the speciality of this survey, usually the socioeconomic surveys would not be that precise, but the importance of this survey is that it measures each of the transactions using the accepted standard financial accounting norms. Right? So that is the only thing they did. So those financial transactions entries could be easily converted into financial variables, which are very much available and very much used in the corporate financial parlance, corporate financial accounting parlance. So they transformed the simple financial transactions or the household financial transactions into the financial variables comparable to the corporate accounting, so that financial variables forms the basis of financial accounting statements, namely balance sheets, income statements, cash flow statements, all were prepared from these derived financial transactions. Then these financial transactions were analyzed. These financial transaction analysis usually in the firms help measure the productivity, the risk, short-term and long-term financial success of the individual firms. Naturally, the same kind of analysis could be done for the individual household levels, and later on it can be compared in the different times. So what is the implication of that? On the one hand, you can compare the better performing household enterprise with the bankrupt financial enterprise, right? So you can compare that. So what makes the what contributes for the betterment of the firm and what makes it to bankrupt, that can be analyzed. Secondly, the dynamics behind that can be analyzed if you compare the financial statements or financial performance across time. So you can use the financial analysis to better understand the problems of the enterprise and the dynamics behind that change. So both things can really help the financial household enterprise. This survey is about village household enterprise. Naturally, the predominant village household enterprise is agriculture. So the agriculture could be analyzed as a household enterprise in a better way, which is very much comparable to the aggregated economic variables. Because the corporate accounting forms the basis of national income accounting and national income, national product accounting. So naturally, they have a close linkage. So when you are analyzing the household financial performance, you can relate yourself with the agricultural sector on the whole. So agricultural sectoral problems relating to productivity, risk, the long-term and short-term viabilities, all could be analyzed with the data we have from the household transactions. So once it is said, right, what makes agriculture, right, really ailing, once it is understood, naturally that understanding can be used to control the sector, and you can better achieve the results through improvements. So agriculture could be improved. If you can improve the agriculture, naturally the sectors relating to agriculture can also get benefited of, actually can also get benefited, because agriculture usually forms the core of economic performance of a nation. So naturally, a country like developing country like India and the neighbors can really benefit out of this experience. Once the agriculture is consolidated, the entire economy can be revived. Right? I'll tell you how. Because we all know the economy, Indian economy is growing at around 7%. Right? Maybe plus or minus some fractions will be there. So it is growing around 7%. But throughout our experience, agriculture has never crossed around 3%. Right? It was actually always, it is around 3% growth rate. So the fast-growing economy like India is affected by slow-growing agriculture within it. So if you could improve, if you could find a formula that can accelerate growth in agricultural sector, that will greatly enhance the performance of the Indian economy. If you could reach the double-digit level, naturally it will help us a lot. Now let us see. The productivity is also very low in Indian economy. Naturally, the implication of this is lower productivity means lower profitability in Indian agriculture. Right? Naturally, if you don't have profit, if you don't have surplus, you will not have a resource, a financial resource to reinvest in the agriculture. So that is also having a great problem. Throughout agriculture, right, at the macro level, facing a lot of problems. One, the climate change is greatly affecting. Two, the public support for agriculture is declining. Third, there is a great fluctuations in prices. Right? So these are all the problems afflicting the Indian agriculture. Most of the problems, right, have shortcomings. We cannot change the climate overnight, and we cannot control the global prices. All we can do is we can only increase the public support for agriculture. But for a country like India, supporting the agriculture with the public resource or the national resource is very limited. So the only possibility is to make the agriculture viable at the household level. Right? So the household surveys really help understand the agriculture at the household level. If you can understand the problems afflicting the agriculture, we can solve many social problems. For example, immediately we can solve the problem of farmers' suicide. On the other hand, the workers who don't find opportunities at their premise had to shift to cities to find better opportunities. That puts enormous pressure on urbanization. Naturally, urbanization puts pressure on urban amenities. that makes life in cities very troublesome. Apart from that, most of the poor live in rural areas, naturally depending on agriculture. That also creates problem. All those problems can be solved at once, right? Immediately, if you can solve the problem of agriculture in relation to productivity, risk, and long-term and short-term viability of agriculture. So this is the idea that is coming out that can help the overall growth of the economies. Thank you all.